So, you know, that's one thing. And I said, why would you even do that? Why would you play him? What are you thinking? So, I don't know. Didn't even think they were that good. Didn't even think they were good at all. What's that? We're on? We're not on. We are. We're on. Well, welcome to SGFFL Weekly, and I am the host, Scott Gross, and thanks again for joining us. We are going to be joined by Kyle Stump, the Hoff. He was in the toilet bowl versus the last of Swamp Dogs and his cousin Bob Holkamp. So we will take a look at the toilet bowl championship right here on SGFFL Weekly. So it's going to be the K&N Friends. Last year they won the whole kit and caboodle. This year they win it on the flip side, where they go down and win the toilet bowl section. So last year's champions are this year's champions in the toilet bowl. And with that being said, let's go on the phone with Kyle Stump. Kyle.
It was with the team I had, it's pretty good taking first round pick for next year. Team was pretty inconsistent this year, but they came through in the playoffs. Just had to get enough points to get it done every week. You know, last week was kind of a joke. Had a good chuckle out of that. Playing against DVDs, that scored 17 points, and Trevor only scored 12. Both our benches scored more points than our starters, but I guess our team wanted it a little bit more. It didn't help me not being there at the draft. I really didn't know. I just kind of shooting off the hip with Andrew Luck. Didn't really know what other quarterbacks were out there at the time, but I knew I wanted a quarterback for my first pick. And I kept Bush, which I shouldn't have. That really hurt me too, to give away my fifth round to keep Bush, and he was a bust this year. He has some good yard games, but, you know, he just didn't find pay dirt very often. Start the guys that are most consistent, you know. If you try to, like, go on luck or try to find that guy that matches up well against the defense or trying to crunch numbers, just go with what's most consistent. Both very good teams, but looking at Lonnie's team, I mean, all those guys that he has, high scoring team. It'll be a tough match, though. It'll be fun to watch. I think they're pretty much going to watch the game together and razz each other and stuff. It'll be fun to watch. I don't know what to say. I mean, I think it's a lot of luck. The team I had just wasn't winning at all this year. You know, Luck had a slow start at the beginning of the season, and at the end here, he really came through for the playoffs in the toilet bowl. It was nice beating my cousin, you know. He's a number cruncher, you know, he's always picking up players, and normally he has a really good team, but I think he should be set pretty well for next year. I think he got a lot of picks from his players this year. He got some homework to do this off season, see who's out there, and hope for the best for next year. All right, thanks for having me.
And thank you, Kyle, for being on SGFFL Weekly. Good luck next year trying to decipher who's going to be the #1 overall pick. What we will do, we will take a break. When we come back after this short timeout, we'll hear from Gabe Stott, the co-commissioner of the SGFFL, and he will give us his predictions on the title game in this season. We'll also hear from Jake Perkins and from Lonnie Gross, the head coach of the Hillman Chiefs. It'll be the Cami Killers and the Hillman Chiefs, the top 2 scoring teams in the league in the title game. Stay tuned. We'll have questions and answers from around the league right here on SGFFL Weekly.
Hold on to me as we go, as we roll down this unfamiliar road. And although this
with a few safety tips for all you Chief fans. First, if you snack during the game, wait at least a half hour before you resume cheering. If you don't, I'm telling you, you could cramp up. Second, if you see a Chiefs player in danger, do not attempt to help him. The other players are professionals, and they are trained to deal with any kind of attack situation. Please let them do their job. Finally, remember to use the buddy system. I know I feel better when I'm surrounded by my buddies. And go Chiefs!
I'm gonna make this place your home. Settle down, it'll all be clear. Don't pay no mind to the demons, they fill you with fear. The trouble in my drag you down.
Welcome back to SGFFL Weekly. I am the host and the commissioner of the SGFFL, also known as the Bush League. I would be Scott Gross, and we will now go around the league. We'll bring in Gabe Stott, the co-commissioner of the league, and we'll get his predictions on this title game between the Hillman Chiefs, everyone's favorite when we entered the playoffs, versus the Cami Killers, who were #1 through most of the season. They started out 11-2, but they've been 6-6 in their last 12 games, but they have won 2 straight in the postseason. Let's toss it over to Gabe Stott, who is sitting down at the No compound in Phoenix, Arizona. Gabe?
Thanks for the heads up, Scott. Well, maybe you did give me a heads up. Okay, I'm back. Hillman versus Cami, huh? This is an interesting matchup, and I'm really looking forward to it. You got 2 guys walking in with a lot of swagger right now. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. First of all, you got Hillman. You know, he's the Hillman Chiefs. He's Chief Wahoo. He'll be coming in all puffed up, feathers on display, ready to go, going into war and stuff. So he's going to be pumped and ready to go with his big squad that he has. And on the other side, you got the Cami Killers, who are going to be coming in fully cologned, berry white rocking. You know, ready to take advantage of some of Lonnie's squads. So we're going to see what happens with that. But you got Hillman. Looking at his lineup, he's got Newton versus Oakland. Cam Newton versus Oakland. That's a good matchup for him. An interesting thing on his roster right now is that he's got Adrian Peterson and Arian Foster going against each other in the same game. You know, and that makes it interesting, because if that happens to be a low-scoring game, that could be an interesting situation for Lonnie and scoring some points. So that said, you know, they got Adrian Peterson puts up points no matter what it seems like, and Texans put up some points, so he should be all right. But if it's, you know, it doesn't go the way the experts think, and it's a low-scoring game, this could be a really big battle here. Lonnie's wide receivers, I think he's going to need more from Jennings. Looks like Des Bryant's a bit of a question mark. I know he played last week and scored, but it's hard to tell what's going to happen with him. And on the other side with Cami, Ryan versus Detroit, he needs a big game from Matt Ryan. He's got either match or better Cam Newton, and that's going to be huge for him. And the biggest thing for Jake, I think, is his running backs. You know, it's all big for both these guys right now. The biggest thing about the running back matchup is that Jake has Marshawn Lynch going against San Francisco. Who's got San Francisco? Lonnie does. So that's a huge matchup right there. We're gonna have to watch and see how that unfolds. He's also got Trent Richardson back there. He scored 2 touchdowns last week, which is all fine and good, but he only got 26 yards. So where's his points going to come from if he's not scoring touchdowns? Then with Cami, he needs something to come up big from his wide receivers. He's got some good names. He's got Reggie Wayne. He's got Marquez Colson, Vernon Davis. You know, where are these guys? Where have they been? Where were they last week? He's lucky enough to get by Skippyville. Without them, they had combined, I think, 1 or maybe 2 points. And but he needs more from them, big time. And not to mention that, he's also got Stevie Johnson, who he had on the bench last week, who came up with 11 points. So what's he going to do? Is he going to start Stevie Johnson? We'll see. What he set him for. So, and special teams is huge for Jake also. You know, like I said, you know, same with Lonnie. Lonnie's got San Francisco against Marshawn Lynch, but Jake's going to need some special teams play big time and putting up some points to keep pace with Lonnie, I think. But it's going to be fun to watch. I know that both guys are coming in big time and ready to rock and throw some punches. You got, like I said before, about these guys. Jake's coming in. The Cami Killers are coming in with their stocking stuffers, looking for some action. And looks like I think that Lonnie's gonna have his squaws on lockdown, guarded by grizzly bears. And it's gonna be a tough time for for Jake to do his business. So officially, for the 2012 SGFFL Championship, my selection is the Hillman Chiefs. And it's going to be fun to watch, and I'm looking forward to it. I need the ball. My elf took my ball. Give me my ball. Tucker. Tucker, come on. Oh, I got my ball. All right, got the ball. Back to you, Scott.
Oh, riveting stuff, Gabe. Thank you very much. Let's now go around the league. We'll hear from Jake Perkins, who is the number 2 overall seed in the playoffs. Jake, what do you have to say about your matchup in the title game?
Well, it kind of came down to what we thought it would. We knew we had a good advantage at the running back. Knew his receivers would be tough. He'll take running backs over receivers almost every time, and it paid off. We were able to cruise right by him, kind of like we had kind of anticipated doing. If you could pick, who you wanted to be there with, it would definitely be against the Chiefs. Probably have to make the venture over to Maple Grove, rewatch some of the games together. Kind of a bittersweet with Adrian Peterson going for his record. As a Vikings fan, you want to see him get that record. But as me being in the Super Bowl, I'd like to see him have maybe an off week or a slow week anyways. That game's going to have a lot to do with the outcome of who wins. With the Texans' defense and the Vikings on the road with Christian Ponder, you'd hope he'd have a good week from the defense. But if the defense, if the Texans go good, then he's got 2 pretty solid offensive weapons on that team that can go with them. Kind of hoping for a lower scoring game, and maybe defense can come away with another pick 6. It's been a good season. We've had good scoring pretty much all year. We had some of our players went through some buys. We slowed down a little bit, and we're picking back up stride. And no, we're not scared of Hillman. Yeah, they have a good team. So do we. We'll leave it at that and let the chips fall where they will. We're not, as far as if we're scared of Hillman, no, we're absolutely not scared of Hillman. We're catching our stride right at the right moment. Looking for our team to produce again this week. We have a few tough matchups coming up, but a lot of our team still has a lot to play for. That's huge when you get to this time of the season. You don't want to have too many people with everything all wrapped up and kind of taking it easy. So our guys still have a lot to fight for, and they know it. We're looking to come out of the gate swinging against Hillman again. We were kind of hoping to have this matchup. Lonnie's had a huge advantage over everybody that he's played. The guy did an awesome job drafting, and he picked up some really key players halfway through the season. But we had a good draft, too, and we had a couple nice additions to our team. And I think out of anybody that would play, we will give him the best run for his money. Interesting part of the season, I would say. Maybe it was time for a change with the logo, and we'll come up with something even more creative for next year. But right now, we got the logo we have, and the logo's picking up steam, and so are we. So we're happy with the way things turned out. Well, that's the way we roll over here. Blue collar is what we are, it's who we are, and it's how we go about our business. And we don't live the prestige life of Maple Grove that maybe Hillman does. He's going to find out what blue collar is all about this weekend.
Big words from a big dude in Jake Perkins, who's bringing his blue-collar attitude and his lunch pail to the title game this weekend. Interesting words where he says maybe Hillman offered the silver spoon this season and the comfy confines of Maple Grove. Sounds nice and cuddly, Maple Grove, doesn't it? Let's hear from the chief himself. We go to the head of the Hillman Chiefs, Lonnie Gross, on location. We don't know if he's from Hillman or from Maple Grove, but he is on the phone with us. Welcome, Lonnie Gross. Congratulations on getting this far. You take on Jake Perkins. Your overall thoughts on your process of getting here?
Well, I got to tell you, it feels real good. I saw the article come out about the Super Bowl 22 preview, or the poll that came out. I think it made it hit home a little bit more. That's Hillman Chiefs are in the Super Bowl, so I think get the job done heading into the weekend here, and write our names in the SGFFL history books. This year we try to trust more in our core team and add just a few additional pieces. So I think it's really helped our guys come together more as a team. But you hit that bad week, and it's the end of your season. And I think that's what we saw a couple of years ago is, guys were off 1 week, and that's all it took. So we were at home watching the Super Bowl like most years. The competition maybe wasn't as fierce, or the games weren't as close, but, we went up against a couple of good defenses there along the way, and, we put up either 70 or 80 points every week. I don't think there were teams that were outscoring us. So maybe that opposing team wasn't right there with us at the end of the game, but still, our offense can put up points, and I think that's what we're seeing, and that's what we'll continue to do this weekend against Cami. Jake and I go back a long way. We know each other pretty well. It'll be a fun weekend. It'll be fun to pick his brain before the game and figure out maybe what he's thinking. But yeah, this is a matchup I think that everybody wants to see. Right? It's the top two scoring teams. It's good running backs against good running backs. It's our lineups are very similar. I think we rely on those running backs to kind of pull us through. And, we faced them earlier in the season, and they beat us. But that was before we really gelled as a team. So I think what we're seeing from our team now is guys that are more committed, guys that are going to pick each other up. And I think when you've got that, enough talent, to get us into the 70s, get us into the 80s, and I just don't see that from Jake's lineup. As long as we're hitting on the same cylinders we've been hitting on the past 6 weeks, I think we'll be fine. It's very interesting. It adds to the excitement, I think, adds to the fun of being in that big game. It really tells the tale of how the season kind of comes to a culmination, and it's not a guy playing here and there. It's those guys are in battle against each other, and it's really, really going to be fun. I mean, I think the emotions right now for us are excitement, getting prepared, trying to keep things in perspective. But yeah, I mean, we're definitely, the nerves are there. We've got 3 games in the playoffs under our belts, so that very first week wasn't as nervous for us. I think the game against the MILFs was probably the most nervous I've seen our team. Just that first big challenge, kind of getting over the superstitions, getting over the bad luck mentality that I've seen our team have in the past. That was that second round game. Getting past that was huge for us. Last week, I didn't see the nerves as much with our guys, but I think that's going to change as we get closer to game day. It's a big game. It's a big statement game for Hillman, and I think it helps us perform at our best to have a little bit of nerves involved. Historically, I've seen my guys do better as the underdog. I think that was the most nerve-wracking part of this whole playoff run here is we're expected to win. We were picked to go all the way, picked as the favorite. That's a tough spot to be in, and we heard jinx a lot through that run, and I'm just proud of my guys for coming through and proving that we're supposed to be here. We are the best team. So I think preferably we'd like to come out of the weeds a little bit rather than be the king of the mountain. But it's worked out for us so far. Kind of like sitting ducks. But we've got the power. We're packing up the power to prove that we deserve to own that Mustang. So I think it'll be, I think Jake's going to come at us pretty hard. It'll show in the end that we have the best team.
So we heard from co-commissioner Gabe Stott down at the No compound. He's been amazing throughout the playoffs. 7-1 he's been through the playoffs. We heard his prediction. We heard from Jake Perkins. We heard from Lonnie Gross. And now we send it back down to Arizona and Gabe Stott. Gabe, any closing thoughts you have on the 2012 season, and what can we expect for 2013?
Every year it seems like there's some team that sells the farm, their whole top end of their draft and trying to make that run. I know that MILFs did the top 2 picks. I did maybe 3, 4, and 5. You know, some might consider that selling the farm, maybe not, but I don't think necessarily is it per se. But we don't have anybody next year going in without their 1 through 5, or something crazy like that, like we usually see. So that's something different this year. So there's no farm selling, in my opinion. So that's kind of something different and unusual for us, I think. Some other stuff that I took of note. Some teams that we expected to do well didn't. Had strong drafts. Strong lineups coming in. Teams like Scott City or the Bad Boys. They had just on paper like some really good teams. I know that Scott City made the playoffs, but he didn't do nearly what he wanted to do, and he didn't even win his division for that matter. So that was kind of surprised. And the Bad Boys had a really good lineup. They just didn't put up points and didn't even make the playoffs. So that's disappointing for him. So those are some things that I took note of throughout the season. Changes for 2013 are going to be really interesting, I think. That we're looking to change. We're going to talk about it more with the league, but we'll have we're looking to revise the toilet bowl, taking those 8 teams, dividing them into 2 4s, then playing a round robin through each of those 2 groups, and with the winner out of the round robin, the 2 winners meeting in the championship for the number one overall pick, and then seeding them out as such, as they're by the records and points and however tiebreakers play out. But the goal of that being just to kind of keep the guys in the league playing, because you go into week 13, you lose, and it just kind of sucks. You're done. You go on the next couple of weeks, woulda, shoulda, coulda, what could have happened, what could I have done with my roster, blah blah blah. I did that this year, so we're trying to look to keep guys more involved longer. So if you do that with the toilet bowl, that's 8 teams that are going to get 3 more, maybe 4 if you're lucky enough, weeks of play, and I think that'd be a really positive thing for the league. But overall, we're looking at also possibly extending the season 1 more week, keeping the same number of games, but instead of having a week at the end of the year where you play 1 game, you'll have 2 weeks at the end of the year where you'll play 1 game. It might make it a little more interesting for the divisional races, because those will be divisional games. And I know that in the past the league has been a proponent for having a 16-week league versus 17, because people don't like the chances of their studs being sat in key moments in week 17 because their actual team is in the playoffs for the NFL and those types of things. But those are things we're going to revisit, and just try to look to make the league overall better as a whole, getting more experience, getting more fun for a longer amount of time than just the 12, 13 weeks that we're at right now. So those are some big things that we're looking at doing. So all that being said, I want to say thanks to everyone for being involved this year. It's been a lot of fun. Thanks to Scott for putting together all these videos. He's put in a lot of hard work, and all the kids and other league members who took their time to contribute to them as well. So thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas. Hope everybody has a safe and happy holidays. Back to you, Scott.
Okay, nice try anyway. Nice throw there, Ponder. Just some things we're thinking about. I think we have everything under control mostly here in the SGFFL. Glad that you were able to watch. Thanks for being a part of this league. I want to thank everybody who helped out with the SGFFL Weekly throughout the season that we did this. It was amazing to have. Big thanks go out to Lonnie Gross. You've been here almost every single week. Jake Perkins, you've been here the last 2 weeks. The Hoff, Kyle Stump, thanks for being on the television program as well. We had Bob Polkamp, we had Scott Specker, we had Doug Dickman, we had Trevor Gross was a part of this as well. So also thanks to everybody else who contributed back at home, the family, the kids, nephews, everybody out there. Thanks for making this a smashing success. Again, this is our final episode of the 2012 season. Good luck to Jake Perkins. Good luck to Lonnie Gross as well. You guys deserve it. And also hats off to Scott Specker on the season and Marianne Gross, who made it to the Final Four. They will be playing in the 3rd place game this week as well. So they're going to still be playing. The 4 teams who are in the Final Four still going. We have that 3rd place game this week as well. So congratulations everybody who made it. Congratulations for making this a wonderful, wonderful season. And also thanks to Gabe Stott down in New Orleans at the No Compound. And let's not forget Jody Stott. Jody was on the program as well. Didn't want to forget you, sweetie. So thanks to Jody on here too. So next year, we do plan on having it again. I will have some classes here at Scott City State University, so we'll be able to go right through the season. We'll see how much we want to put into it, or if we even want to bring it back. But if we do, we'll bring it back. We'll be here. Thanks for everything. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of this. And again, I can't thank you enough. Merry Christmas. Be safe. And hopefully the world does not end, because what would we do without football? Here's to everybody out there. Congratulations. Thanks for watching. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. Happy Draft Day. Happy Camp Day. Happy Kickoff 2013. Can't wait. Can't wait. Again, thanks for watching.
'Cause I'm gonna make